everyone. Carter Fong here. I'm the new Marketing and Events Director for the City of Dickinson. We are in the City of Dickinson's podcast studio here at City Hall. I am with 4 DSU students. They are all Theodore Roosevelt Honors Leadership Program scholars. I'm glad they've joined me today. We are trying to launch or take off and have a podcast soar here from City Hall, putting positive news out into the community. And I'm starting with students that I had in the classroom this spring. You're gonna learn their names in just a second, but the first question to the group, we're not nervous here, are we? I hope not. I mean, as we're recording, it is Friday, May 16th. It is the Friday of final testing week. I think you're all done with your exams.
Yeah.
This podcast right now, it has no official title. It has no following. We're not on any platform yet. I'm not even 100% certain the equipment's working, but we're going to give it a go, and I think we're going to record a great content and then have other great episodes to follow. You should not be nervous here. We're going to have a good conversation just like we did in class. But with that being said, we need to know who each one of you are. First and last name, where you're from, and then why you chose Dickinson State University. I'll go here first.
I'm Sadie Stevenson. I'm from right here in town in Dickinson, and I chose here is because a lot of my family members have gone here before, and a lot of them are still involved with the campus, and like my family's been pretty involved with the campus as well.
Yeah, I think your mother would be a sibling to Pete Stanton, the athletic director and the football coach,
Yep.
right? That's a good family
Yeah.
connection to start with. Thank you, Sadie.
I'm Talissa Fishback. I'm from Mortcroft, Wyoming, and I chose Dickinson because it was close to home and it was pretty cheap.
Yeah, inexpensive or great value.
Yeah.
Let's go with
Yeah.
that for your education. You are an education major.
Yes, I am.
And we've got 3 freshmen and a sophomore, so you've got seniority in this group. You were a little demanding. You demanded a mug of coffee to begin this podcast, but we're glad you're here. 2 years in, I hope you're happy with your choice at
Yeah,
Dickinson
I
State
am, yep.
University. Good. Okay?
I'm Zaya Schneider. I'm from here in town, Dickinson, and I chose Dickinson State because, well, I have a lot of family that have come here, and also it already felt set up for me when I heard of all of the opportunities that would come here, and there's an amazing cheer program that is, my mom is the coach, and yeah, I thought I would be really successful here.
Yeah, and your mother in a great cheer program. I think you were top 3 in the nation in the NAIA, and your mother was National NAIA Cheer Coach of the Year, and you deserve great accolades and praise for that. Thank you, Zaya. Cash.
I'm Cash Randall. From Elizabeth, Colorado.
Okay.
I came to DSU to play football in the whole long run, but studying finance and had some family ties that came back to here, and they told me about this school, and so I came and checked it out and made a trip up here.
Good. And like actually in media, we could say maybe you are the trained professional in the room, because tell us a little more about Hawk Talk, what you have going on there.
So Hawk Talk is this news segment we do with Consolidated where it kind of just tells you what's going on with the college. We interview the president, Minute with Molander, that's or I guess Minute with Orton is what it used to be.
Yeah.
That was my kind of segment, but then we'd recap sports and interview different athletes and teachers and stuff, and that would go out once a week.
It's a great segment. I've been paying attention and watching on Consolidated Channel 18 locally.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think we had a great semester in the classroom. I really only picked up your class to teach right after New Year's Day. They needed someone to step in and wing it a little bit, but make it happen in the classroom Tuesday and Thursday mornings. And let's set the stage. 8:30 a.m. You are a college freshman or sophomore. Most of you and your classmates rolled in about 8:30 on the dot in sweatpants, half awake. Maybe you have that energy drink or coffee with you, maybe not, but there's got to be at least one topic that caught your attention and that you enjoyed very much during our semester together. This was TR Lead 100 was the name of the class. I'll take any of you in any order. Tell me about one topic that you enjoyed in our class.
I really like that they were more like pertain to like the community because I'm from here, so I didn't like have a specific one that I liked, but I just liked that it was all kind of like relevant.
Yeah, I basically turned the class. We did a book study The book was written by former Senator Ben Sasse, called The Vanishing American Adult. I have good news, not all American adults are vanishing. Okay, but the final chapter of the book is what would be Theodore Roosevelt's advice to a high school graduating class today. It made the book a great fit for a class. Beyond that, I basically turned it into a state and local current events class, and it sounds like you enjoyed that. I'm glad to hear that. Okay, what else?
My favorite part is probably, I remember it was like either the first or second class, but it was like you had a setup and you said like, say you're really, really tired and you like have this much time, you got like 3 hours of sleep, and then you had like Pepto and like a lineup of things, and you were like, what line in order should you take these in? And I was like, that's funny. So
As you know, I try humor to begin class. Sometimes it lands, sometimes it bombs. You get to laugh at me. The theme there was, are you a busy person or are your days full? And do you know the difference? And at a different time in my life when I was just a busy person, I had a sick day and I lined up in front of my desk on a noon hour, chicken noodle soup, emergency, 5-hour energy, Pepto-Bismol, and one other item, and I said, in what order do you take these? There's no right answer. That's just a recipe for disaster there. I made it through the day, but I was a busy person, but my days were not full. That was the important message behind the humor.
yes.
On that
No, and I
day in
definitely got
class.
that message at
Good.
the end.
Yeah. Good. I got
But I
your
was like-
attention. You were awake.
Yeah, I was awake.
Okay, anything else?
I'd kind of piggyback off of Sadie. I liked learning about things that are going to pertain to us after college, and not just receiving a bunch of information that we're just going to learn just to get through college.
That's right. You know, I didn't want you to be able to simply Google all the answers to my
Yeah.
questions, okay? And I think we've got some more topics coming that hopefully are relatable and relevant to our audience too, but thank you. Cash, anything?
We didn't go too deep into it, but I thought it was interesting when we talked about the Theodore Roosevelt Library that's being built, because when I got here, the school wasn't open yet, so the first thing me and my parents did was go up to Medora and check that out, and just interesting to learn about like how they're constructing it and what it's going to mean to the community in the good way and in the bad ways. So I thought that was kind of an interesting conversation.
I'm glad you're interested. I think young people like yourselves might have a very important role to play when that library opens next summer. And I now at the city will be part of the committee that prepares our region for that event. What was a highlight of your academic year, your school year, whether you're a freshman or sophomore? Let's go more generally beyond my class. What was a highlight of your year in any order? We had a few. Why don't you recap successes of the cheerleading program, if you don't mind?
Oh yeah, I have a bunch. I was gonna say a lot about cheer, but here's
your chance.
There's more outside of it. And this is my first year on the team, and it's definitely the best decision that I've ever made in my life. And I just think that the team that we created in the family and everything, like we built together, made every success so much better, and it made it so much more meaningful. My favorite one is probably our first home competition, and we were about to go on the mat for the first time. So this was our first time ever competing. Actually, it was our first competition of the season, and I was really nervous because I've never competed collegiately at that time. And then a song came on. I can't remember which song it was, but I know Cash was there, but it was like Gimme Gimme, a Man After Midnight.
Okay.
And okay.
Not familiar.
to be fair, that song came on, and then all the crowd got up and they started clapping to the beat of the song while we were just standing at the edge of the mat, and it just like made my nerves just go away because it reminded me that I'm like home, and it was.
There you go. I'm hearing you say this is your home, your team is your family, and that you were able to channel your nervous energy in a positive way.
Yeah,
Good
because
things.
the crowd was amazing.
Okay. How about other highlights for any of you this year?
I know I'm a football player, but one of my greatest memories is when our basketball team won one of those big matches, and I was filming and stuff, and I just felt like we had a really good community once that buzzer finally blew, and we all came in and we went onto the court, and everyone was just so happy, and I felt that was just a cool moment in my opinion.
Yeah, for those of us who've been in the community for a while, we haven't seen Scott Gym rocking like that for a few years. And you had it going. There was a Saturday semifinal game, I think a Tuesday evening championship game. The atmosphere was awesome.
Yeah.
You bet.
I agree with Cass. That was probably like
That
my
was-
favorite. It was so cool, like with everything and all the like chanting and cheers and stuff.
You bet. I'm a former coach. I'm a current coach, but the one thing that still gives me goosebumps is a pep band, and you actually had Dickinson High come over and help get that gym rocking on the Saturday semifinal game. I thought that was awesome from the community to give you guys support.
And they're really good too.
They
Yeah.
are really good. Great. Now I think, so you are all Theodore Roosevelt Honors Leadership Program scholars. You've had strong academic careers. You are regarded as leaders on your campus, whether you embrace that label or not. But I would like to hear from each of you if you have somebody in mind who helped guide and mentor you to become the young adult that you are today. Who would you give credit to? And I'm going to go to Talissa first.
Okay. There's actually two. Both of them were coaches. One started me playing basketball as a first grader and then kind of handed me off to my second coach, who was my assistant basketball coach in high school.
Sure.
And they just helped me through like all the trials and tribulations of life. I still, to this day, I can call them up anytime I want and I'll just have a conversation with them. And when I go home for like Christmas or Easter or spring break, like I'll call them up and we'll meet up and have dinner or something. So
Great to hear you say that. I think for a lot of you it might be a coach, but how about the rest of you? Who's been a mentor, a role model, a leadership role model in your life?
A big part of my life was this. His name was Jeremiah. He was a Green Beret for 20 years, and we just got really close through church in my hometown, and he just taught me a bunch of stuff on how, because he led his own special forces teams and whatnot, and how like people's emotions are more important than sometimes how they like look on the outside.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the biggest thing that I got from him when leadership is you gotta think past what you can see in somebody, and that's just kind of where he helped me get along a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah, I think in our class, I hope we dealt with the human element and emotions a little bit, because the next question is about AI and are we all going to get replaced by robots someday? And I don't think so, but it means you got to tap into the human side and learn when you can. Okay, how about role models for either of the two of you?
I've had a couple, so I would say two most important would be like my Uncle Pete San and then my dad. For high school, like some stuff just didn't go like as ideally as I would have hoped,
Sure.
and they really helped me like work through that and like kind of just showed me like even though the situations aren't ideal, you just have to make the best of it.
Yeah.
And another one would be my volleyball coach, Taylor Hafner. I only had her for 1 year because that was her first year coming in, but just like seeing how she was just able to like get like everyone behind her and just like take us farther than we've ever gone, and it was her first year, and just like she put a really big emphasis that I like really liked was she would ever come at one player and be like, you need to fix this. She'd be like, as a team we need to do this, and I just like that attitude and like how she like attacked it like really stuck with me.
Yeah, you know, I know her a bit. I think she came from New England High School to Dickinson
Yep.
High. She made a big step up that year. And you're right, if you enter athletics or any other extracurricular, not every season ends in confetti and cutting down the nets and raising a banner up at your school, and yet you can be a winner or a champion in your approach. Nevertheless, I think that's important. Role model.
I'm gonna have to say my sister Kira.
Yeah.
She works at the foundation and as the marketing and events coordinator, and even just like when I was younger, she's always been like a huge supporter of me. Like she's backed me in everything, and especially like in cheer and even in school, she's motivated me to just strive for the best all the time and expect the best out of myself, because that's what she expects out of me.
Yeah.
And she really expected that for herself, and then she was like, Zaya, you gotta accept this, and you gotta put this expectation for yourself to reach higher. And I think that's like the biggest difference it made, and I just think the way that she believed in me really got me to where I am, and multiple people in my life, but I think that she's definitely left the mark on me the most.
Yeah, awesome to be able to give credit to a sibling there. Most of us have siblings. We get along with those siblings most of the time, but that mentor relationship isn't always there. You come from a bigger family. I think, how many total children in your family?
So I have 5 sisters, and then I didn't know any of my foster siblings, but I
Sure.
actually have 15 foster brothers and 4 foster sisters.
That's right.
So they were there before I was born,
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
some of them. But
And
Yeah.
another thing I know about your family, your mother has worked in media. So I talked about this being amateur hour, or my first episode. Your mother actually interviewed me when I was an 8th grader, and she will have a sense for whether this was well done or not. And I look forward to her feedback. Okay. Let's go to that AI or robot question. I want you to remind the audience, what is your major? And then, do you think AI is a threat to your future career path? In any order.
So I'm a finance major, which AI can replace some stuff in finance. I don't plan to go into finance in my career, so I want to be a film director and produce films. And I do think that AI at some point could probably get to the advanced point where they auto-generate movies pretty much, and then just actors talk over the animations or whatnot, because they've already got some crazy stuff where they can put a clip of somebody talking and it changes their mouth. And
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we've had it for 5 years out right now. And
It's a brave new world.
Yeah, I know.
And you're trying to stay on the front edge of that. It sounds like you're prepared for that possibility. What else? The rest of you? AI.
I'm elementary education, and I think to a point it will. There's always, you have to have the human characteristics of a teacher, but everything's based around technology now, and it's just come so far that kids have to be on technology at school. Like, it's required for them to be on it at school with how much the government spends on it. And so I do think to a point, yeah, which is really sad
Yeah.
because it takes away the critical thinking and all these other skills that kids should learn.
And with that, we had a conversation in class because it came up at the North Dakota legislature. K through 12, North Dakota, it looks like, is set to ban cell phones. So you talk about technology will always be there, but will we actually have all of our students plugged in the classroom? Not necessarily, and there are pros and cons to that we might not get into any further. Our audience needs to know that was a class topic, and you're aware that that's happening. And there's a state-by-state approach that is unique, but North Dakota made that move in April of 2025. Is AI a threat to your future career?
I'm going into accounting, so I think it can. I think it can probably do most of the job and like speed it up. I would say because AI always goes by the book or like what the code gives it. One thing about accounting is to like figure out how to like get around things and loopholes. So that would be the one thing I don't think it could do.
Sure.
But otherwise, yeah.
Yeah, I think you make a good point. Even if AI exists, you still might need a human input or a human looking for loopholes,
Yeah.
is the way you put it. Okay? AI.
So I'm majoring in psychology, and I plan on being a psychologist. So I don't actually think that AI is going to affect it too much, just because I don't think that you can connect or evaluate somebody on a personal level that a psychologist does. And being in person and human, and even technology for sure has changed it, because you can now do therapy online and go through a call instead of in person. But I definitely think that you need an actual human to evaluate and understand an emotion and things like that.
Of all the things that AI could be trained to do in the future, it will take the longest before AI can fully understand human nature.
Yeah.
I think you might be onto something there. We're going to pivot here a little bit. I'm a former basketball coach. We'll pivot. Right over my shoulder and outside the building would be Dickinson's Legacy Square. That's a concert venue. We can accommodate maybe a crowd of a couple thousand people. So let's go. We can go dream world or we can go real world on this. But chance for you to tell me what would be your dream concert to go to anywhere in the world, Or maybe what would be a more realistic act that you would like to see come to our community someday? What you got?
I don't know any like smaller bands that we could have come here, but a dream concert I would love to see, like prime Motley Crue.
Motley Crue.
Yeah.
Okay. I know Motley Crue. Are their band members still alive? Are they together?
Yep, they're all still
Okay.
alive.
They're still rocking.
They're still rocking. It was a little rocky there for a little bit.
Yeah,
but,
those bands don't always get along.
But
right?
they're still together. They are pretty old, so they don't
Sure.
perform very much. But one maybe realistic person we could have in Dickinson is Canada native. He named Coulter Wall.
Coulter Wall.
Yep.
Okay.
He's not huge, but he still has some pretty.
I'll take a note on that. You got the rest of you. Dream big.
I'd say the king of the country music, George Strait.
Good. I think I'm right there with you. What's your favorite George Strait song?
Oh, that's so hard.
He's got at least 50 number one hits
I
because I've got
know.
the 2-disc CD case at home. I'm going to say Amarillo by Morning is up there. I've done that one karaoke. Okay?
Probably Clear Blue Sky.
Yeah, great
That's a
choice.
good one.
George Strait. He is still performing,
He
I
is
think.
sometimes,
Yeah.
yep.
Okay, good. Can't promise we're bringing him
No,
away.
I know, yeah.
Okay? Either of you.
I can go.
Yep.
So, I don't know for sure, but because I haven't heard a lot of Jelly Roll's music. But I know I'm a Christian,
Yeah.
and he's starting to make more music related to that. So I feel like I would enjoy that a lot, and even Brandon Lake, because that's majority of the music I listen to anyways.
Mhm.
And I think that would be a really good thing to get people together, because I think God is truly good. So.
You know, we live in a community with people with different backgrounds. I think the thing that was encouraging for me to be adjunct faculty at a public university is for those of you who are Christian to say that and to not be shy about that either. Okay, you were just genuine and honest on that point, so good to hear you say that. I'll go to Sadie on the music question.
I don't really have a realistic one, but I'd really want to see Post Malone with his new album. I really liked his new album, so that's not realistic.
Okay, Post Malone, is there at least one country artist who has paired with Post Malone? Am I getting that right?
Yeah, so he did
Morgan
a whole.
Wallen?
Yeah, he did a
Okay.
whole country album.
There you go.
So.
Okay, I at least have a clue who Post Malone
Yeah.
is. Okay, cool. Good. Dream big. I hope you get to those bucket list concerts. Okay, let's, on the same vein, a couple questions left. I want you to think about who are the talented people on your campus. Either give me a name of somebody who should be performing, maybe karaoke at Legacy Square, or somebody who should be helping me in building the 2026 concert lineup, or who might make the next podcast guest when we get to maybe fall semester. Give me some names. Name drop.
I want to see Jackson Wicker play the guitar if we do like
Okay.
a talent thing.
Tell a little bit about Jackson Wicker. Who's Jackson Wicker?
Jackson Wicker is a football player on my football team. I don't know if he sings or not, but we'll just walk into his house sometimes and he's playing the guitar and he plays it pretty well. So I just want to see him do it in front of a bunch of people.
Is he going to be happy that you gave his name, or embarrassed, or?
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Can't hurt.
He'll probably be mad if someone signed him up for the concert.
Well,
But
we'll work on that. Good. Any of the rest of you, name drop. Who should I be working with?
I think, okay, so I have 2. Actually 3.
Okay.
First, I'm going to say Riley O'Donnell.
Okay.
He can play the guitar. That's all I know, because he's played with my grandparents before in their little concerts that they like to have.
Yeah.
And 2, Tia Madriga. She
Tia
knows.
was in our class.
Yep.
Sorry, go ahead.
Actually, something funny about her is she made her own concert this year in May Hall. She put together this little Christmas concert, and she played piano with Maddie Frater, I think her name is,
Yep.
her last name. And it was really fun. She actually got 20 people to show up to watch, and she made it herself and asked if she can host it there. It was really funny. And then my sister, Dakia Schneider, who's also a coach for cheer, she is really good at singing. She has a beautiful voice.
Good to hear those names. Tia and Maddie were both in this class. I wanted them both as podcast guests here too, but they are both Canadian and they have said peace out for the spring semester already. Okay? I don't know if I got to anyone. Okay. Any other names? Who should I be working with?
I don't know.
Nobody coming to mind there. I said it was okay to pass on one question, but it means you get the next one. What is something you are excited for this summer? We'll go in this order, starting with Sadie.
I'm just excited for it to be warm and for the sun to be out probably, and just to go out and like hang out by the lake and stuff.
There you go. What? Sakakawea?
Yeah,
Where do you go?
Sakakawea.
Okay, what bay?
Mackenzie Bay.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to Italy this summer in August
Good for you.
with my mom and my sisters and then some other family members because my mom's grandma was from Italy.
Okay.
So we're going to go see where she's from and just meet all the family that's over there.
Good for you. That's awesome. Okay. Highlight for the summer for
Highlight for the summer. I'm gonna be working quite a bit, so there's not gonna be too much. But I love boats and I love the lake, so I'm gonna
There you
get
go.
on. I'm going back to Colorado later today, so when I think I land, I'll go to sleep, wake up, and it's time to get on the boat.
Good for you. What lake would that be?
We go around. Sometimes we go to Lake Pike, the Loveland Reservation or Reservoir, just kind of the Aurora Reservoir and stuff. Just a bunch,
That's great.
but they're all pretty close. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Good. Okay. Excited for the summer.
Oh yeah, definitely the 4th of July. That one's a big
Yeah.
one. We get my whole family to come down to our lake, and it's always a really big event for us. My mom loves to just invest in that as much as she can, and she likes to spend a long time up there when it's the 4th.
Yeah.
And probably we have team days for cheer, and my whole team from all over gets to come down, and we get to have like a bonding and like a camp week and stuff like that together. So I'm really excited to meet all of the new recruits. Stuff
Yeah.
like that.
I think one thing we talked about in class, time is precious, so I love that you use the word invest when really you were talking about how we use our time. Okay, these are special memories. One thing I'm looking forward to in our family, I will have a new, my sister Tara and her husband Vince will have a new child born, expected in June. They live in Chicago. We're going to drive that way late August. On our way, we are going to pass by the Field of Dreams cornfield in Iowa. And then we're going to go to a Yankees-White Sox baseball game and meet the new member of our family and make our way back. And I love that windshield time. I don't mind driving versus flying. And a couple of you are making a drive here shortly as well. Final question here is the final question that was on your essay this spring. How would you market the city of Dickinson from your perspective? How would you sell what is good about this community and our region? And you didn't know it at the time, but this has become my new job, and it's the reason why we're here. So if you were helping me sell this community to others, what would you say about Dickinson and Western North Dakota?
if I was gonna market it, I'd probably be trying to market it to kids our age that are coming in for college and whatnot. And I think the greatest success would be if you kind of market it as the small town feel. Like, I know a lot of my friends, that's what they enjoy. They grew up in a small town and they didn't want to go to a huge school like NDSU or UND or something like that. So they come here and, yeah, it's a little bit bigger than where they grew up, but it still has that homey feeling, and you get to kind of get to know the community and whatnot.
Yeah, that's an interesting, most people would want to say we're growing, but you would want to keep the small town feel no matter what the actual population of Dickinson is, right? Okay, what else?
I would say, like, piggybacking off that, just like talking about how it's like a rural area, and so like there's things you can go do outside. You can take a trip over to Medora for a day, or you can just go to all the parks in town. There's lakes by, so Bismarck's an hour and a half away. Like, you can have the small town feel and then go to the city.
It's a great point. Yeah, there are amenities not far away. We don't often brag up Bismarck from Dickinson. We like to remind folks what we have right here, but I do get the point.
Yeah.
You bet. Okay, what else?
I think too, like a selling point would be like our nice like facilities that we have here. Like the BAC is like super nice, especially like compared to like a lot of the facilities that in our conference too. And then we also have that new Sanford Sports Complex with like those new softball diamonds that are all really nice. And the West River Community Center is also like really nice too.
Great points you bring up. Each and every one of those, I believe you could say, is supported by a combination of public taxpayer dollars and private donations as well. You need both in a community. Your father is on the park board, and in 2024, the Dickinson Park District won the Gold Star #1 park district in the country of communities 30,000 and smaller, and we maybe don't brag about that enough. We have great parks and facilities in Dickinson. Anything else belong on the list?
I would probably just say that like North Dakotans are known to be kind, and like just like
Yeah.
Cash said, like it's a small town and we come together a lot and we know each other around here, and I think it's like a home before you even make it a home. And I just think that that's a good selling point, and like it's good to get the community together to make it even more of a comfortable space.
Yeah, I think that might be a great note to end on. You know, I really enjoyed the semester, and you know that. And the final thing I want to say about this group is that I am very grateful that each and every one of you was willing to go first on a platform that we're not even live on yet, on this podcast that will have a name eventually. I'm saying what we're trying to capture is leaders, legends, and lifestyle in Dickinson and Western North Dakota. We're building something here. You're an important part of it. Not a one of you was looking for extra attention. In some cases, you were pretty nervous, maybe a little reluctant to go first, but you're here. You get why we're here. We want young people to have a seat at the table here at City Hall with the important decisions that are made in the community. Again, I'm thanking you for your time. I wish you all the best this summer. And please send me those other Blue Hawks who should be next in line for this podcast. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next time.